Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us on iTunes right now, please leave me a 5-star review. I got a bunch of stand-up gigs coming up. February 26th, I'll be back with Comedians of the Compound at Governor's in Long Island. That's in Levittown. Same place where I recorded my album, which is currently being put together by the lovely Aaron Berg over at Uncancelable Records. It will be out sometime in the next month to 6 weeks. As soon as I have details on where you guys can do pre-orders, I will let you know. But I'm so excited for this album to come out. I did a lot of fun new jokes about January 6th, so I'm so excited for everybody to hear them. Quick word from our sponsor. Thank you so much to our sponsor. And this is something I actually am very intrigued about because I am a little bit intimidated by crypto. And it's something I want to learn more about this year. Because, guys, we've all seen so many people make ridiculous money from crypto. But did you know it's easy for you, yes, you, to do the same? The Copy My Crypto membership shows you the exact crypto coins that YouTuber James McMahon personally holds and allows you to copy him. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto, like me, or how to invest. You simply just do what he does. So let me tell you a little bit more about James. He runs the Crypto with James YouTube channel, which, despite heavy censorship, as we all know, has over 15,000 subscribers and 1 million views. Since March of 2020, he's told his viewers to buy 26 crypto coins. Had you put in $100 into each one, it would now be worth over $66,000. That's crazy. That's so much money. Over the 26 coins, his top pick of the year, a coin called Phantom, is currently up around 440 times from when he started. That one call alone has retired a number of people, including guys and girls in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go onto YouTube and verify all of this yourself. So if you'd like to join the 1,300 members who copy James, then stop what you're doing and head over to copymycrypto.com/Mayor. That's spelled Mayr. You'll not only find proof of everything I've said, but my listeners can get full access for just $1. You won't find this offer anywhere else, but act fast because this is a special New Year's offer and it will expire soon. That's copymycrypto.com/Mayr. Don't take this offer lightly. He's the real deal. Go visit the site now. Well, not right now. Go when the podcast is over. I'm so excited. I'm excited to learn more about crypto this year so I can crush it on all fronts. Fitness, money, I'm going to buy more padded bras this year. It's going to be 2022 is going to be my year. I feel it. I'm going to bring in a gal, and I feel like 2022 is going to be her year as well. She is basically a content creating queen. She's hosted so many things. She's a Twitch streamer. She's a fitness fanatic. I mean, fanatic in the best possible way. I've just been like quietly lurking a fan of hers for a while. So I'm so happy that she is finally joining me today on the show. Melonie Mac, how are you?
Yay!
Hello. Yay.
Hi! Doing great. Really happy to be here.
Yay. I was looking at your YouTube channel and you've been doing like videos pretty steadily. Was YouTube your first platform? Because I
Mhm.
noticed you had a like who even knows what viral is anymore, like what the
Right.
qualifications are. But you had this one video and I wonder if it was your biggest success at the time. It was
Mhm.
from 2013. It was called Fake Girl Gamer.
Right. Yeah, that was my first viral video I've ever
Oh
made.
wow.
Yeah.
And you talked about you were like, this is a title that gets thrown around. This is an insult that gets thrown around, and it's this idea. And I've never been a gamer, really. Like
Mhm.
I dabbled a little bit. Like I played Sega Genesis. I played Sonic the Hedgehog. I played a little bit of Indiana Jones. Occasionally, I would steal my brother's Game Boy and do a little Dr. Mario. So I'm not at all pretending to like at all know what I'm talking about, but I love seeing similarities to the comedy industry, and I think I see that kind of in like the nerd world and then the
Mhm.
gaming world, the more people I talk to. And it seems like there's just so much competition, and it also seems like the presence of just a beautiful woman, who,
Oh,
whether she's good at what she's doing or she's just starting out, I feel like it triggers people. And
yeah.
like, I want to hear about your experience because I feel like you're in a couple different worlds of the internet.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of in a couple different spaces, but I feel like what I'm most known for is the gaming space cuz that's what I started with and that's what I put most of my time into, and like the whole fitness stuff, which has been really fun and exciting. That's more of a newer development for the past like year or two. Um but gaming is at the core of it, and I do find that with myself and a lot of opinions that I do have in the gaming space, and especially involving, women and female characters in games, and how I appreciate the very beautiful and even unrealistic beauty standards. I love it. Like, look at classic Lara Croft. That like perfect hourglass shape that there's no way any real person could achieve quite that
She's such a
exaggeration.
good example, and I've talked about I
Yeah.
don't know if you know Anna, that Star Wars girl. She
Yeah.
was one of the first people I talked to where she was, like, from the nerd world, and she was like, "No, we need to stand up for these art," and these artists, and can't remember their names,
Mhm.
but they were known for drawing female characters in such because she's like, "It's a fantasy. You're not supposed to have realistic proportions." Like, it's
Exactly.
aspirational, I think, for women. It's a fun fantasy aspect for women and men as well.
Mhm.
So I'm just wondering, like, and I totally interrupt you, but I'm wondering when did you start to notice a little bit of a change, and a little bit of less acceptance for basically like unrealistic or just beautiful women or beautiful characters in like the
Right.
gaming world?
Well, I think it didn't really fully hit me until, I don't know, right around 2018-ish. Around the time like Shadow of the Tomb Raider came out, for example. I feel like it really started hitting me then because I've always admired the exaggerated beauty characters and all that, but at the time whenever we did start seeing more practical designs, I was fine with it. I was even for it. I was like, "Oh, this is cool. We let's have some diversity here." But then it finally clicked with me that this isn't about diversity. They're just completely shaming even these more curvy and unrealistic beauty standard characters, as if this is something that we have to apply to real life, and as if anybody who plays a video game is going to expect real women to look like this and things of that nature. And so then I started realizing, hey, this looks like a big push against femininity in general, because when you're really unpacking why do these female characters have such exaggerated proportions, well, a lot of it is just like with cartoons. It's a way to exaggerate certain characteristics. And so someone like Lara Croft, she's that femme fatale, and giving her the proportions that she has is an exaggeration of her being a woman. Just that extra stress, like, yes, this is a powerful woman and she is all woman,
And she's a
you know?
superwoman and she's extra
Yes.
feminine, and, like, why is that a bad thing? And it's like, yeah, it's not simply inclusion, it's not simply diversity, it's like beautiful women, whether real or fantastical, are kind of, like, shamed,
Mhm.
are it's everyone's kind of more comfortable shitting on them. It's like, yeah, well, some women do have really big boobs. Some women
Right?
do have long legs. Some women do have like a naturally thin kind of like constitution, fast metabolism, whatever. And
Mhm.
and that's like okay. And I just feel it's just an overcorrection in a sense. And we see it everywhere from yeah, like gaming to Hollywood to like really, I don't know, I think comedy as well, like comedy content, I see it.
Right.
I feel like there's no way I would get a special on, like, an HBO or a Comedy Central unless I was a super, like, woke liberal, or
Mhm.
I went back to, like, my man-hating feminist ways, like, my
Yep.
fresh out of college, brainwashed sensibilities, or if
Mhm.
I were to, like, start to transition or be, like, a very vocal, like, I don't know, become, like, bisexual or lesbian or
Right.
whatever. If you're just
Right.
a regular person, sorry, you're not gonna get a comedy special, and I've kind of, come to grips with that, and I've sort of like, "Okay, now I'm just going a different way." Thank God that's not the only option in
Mhm.
comedy.
Yeah, and I see even a bit of that in the gaming space in general. Just the things that I've said, which to me I consider pretty tame, even are very against the approved narrative. And so me even being as outspoken as I have lately has put me at risk in the gaming space of not getting future sponsor opportunities or not getting hosting opportunities that I otherwise would have before if I just parroted the narrative. And it's just wild to me because you can be a woman in this space and make a tweet and say, men suck, they don't deserve rights or something like that, and get 100,000 likes on it and have all the opportunities in the world. But then if you say something else like, I made a tweet not long ago saying, hey, as women, maybe we should stop being victims here and stop calling everyone a misogynist because they make a get in the kitchen joke on Xbox Live. It ain't that deep. It's a joke. Just toss it right back at them. And for me to even say that was seen as extremely controversial. And I know every time I make a tweet like that or something like that, that hey, this might risk my future in the gaming space, but I ain't just gonna sit back and not share my opinions on things. Things have completely overcorrected, like you said, and it's just ridiculous right now.
Your Twitter is the best. If you're not following Melonie Mac on Twitter right now, you're missing out because I'm like obsessed with all of your stuff. I'm gonna play a little bit of one of your rants where like every word out of your mouth, I was like, yes, yes, yes. And then we're gonna expand a little bit on it.
All right.
Feminism, they say. Defend women, they say. But then when we stand against the erasure of femininity and trying to force us all into one amorphous, genderless blob, no, then we're incels or internalized misogynists. Instead, we're supposed to push for women to be victims, to not take a joke, to be weak. That ain't feminism, bro. You're doing it wrong. Fight for feminism, they say. Defend.
Yeah, it's like you're basically summing up perfectly. Like, I don't know if it's an overcorrection or just it just seems like a very icky motivation going on here. It doesn't feel like acceptance to me. It doesn't feel. I feel like I can only be accepted if I am an angry kind of caricature of a woman.
Right. If you hate men, you are perfectly accepted. I mean,
yeah, come on right ahead. Here, get all the gigs.
Mhm.
And it's like I don't know. I could never pretend to be a certain way just to get work, just to get specials, just to like make more money. And it's interesting that you say that you think you're in danger of losing some work because of even just throwing out like a TikTok or a tweet. And it's like you hear it, and even people in the chat are like, "Oh, Melanie's just saying things that are common sense. Like, how would this possibly cost her work?" But what kinds of opportunities do you think? Having these out opinions is like really costing you. What do you think you would miss out on?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I've been in the gaming industry for 12 years now. It is very interconnected, and there's a push for a certain narrative. Now some people might have the best of intentions and just kind of fall into it. But there are a lot of people who push this narrative for almost controlling like purposes, because the more that us women play victim, then the more they can control us. And that's what it feels like to me. And the thing is me going against the narrative and stuff, and this first really started uh on a larger scale last summer. This was more around the whole everything going on with the pandemic and all that. And I know you're uploading this on YouTube, so I don't want to get you demonetized.
Oh, you're
but
so
I'm just
kind. I've had.
But I'm just saying everything going on around the
the thing in your arm.
Yeah, about how pushing that on everybody and how if you don't get that, then you are just selfish and a murderer and this and that. And I kept seeing, especially like from gaming influencers and stuff, just constantly pushing this. And well, I just felt compelled at one point to make a tweet and say, you know what? I believe in choice. And if you want to make that choice, great. If you don't want to make that choice, also great. Because if you got people, whether on social media or in real life, who are disowning you or making you feel alone because of your own personal medical decision, just know that I support you. And that created a massive cancel campaign to try to ruin my life, basically. I mean, it didn't
Whoa.
succeed, but
When was this? When did
that
you
was
tweet that out?
last August-ish, somewhere
Okay.
around
Oh,
there.
wow.
And at the time I was hosting for GameStop TV. My contract ended in September, so a month later, and then they ended up they're restructuring and laid off all their hosts anyway. But before that happened, man, I had all kinds of people tagging GameStop. People were calling GameStop headquarters insisting that I get fired because I was a murderer, a selfish murderer. I
God.
had so many colleagues in the industry who I thought were my friends just absolutely not only turn their back on me, but call me terrible names and say absolutely terrible things to me just because I said I believe in choice.
Oof. And it's so similar to what I found in what happened to me in the comedy industry after like being at January 6th, like didn't go in the building. Nobody cares about the details. I was there to
Mhm.
like cover the rally, do interviews, whatever. But everyone's like trained like dogs, because they watch mainstream media and they go, "Oh, January 6th, you're an insurrectionist. You must have taken a shit on Pelosi's desk. You're a horrible person. Like, let's get you fired from comedy. Let's get you
Wow.
canceled from the comedy in New York City." And oh yeah, there were people messaging my Facebook friends being like, "Just letting you know you're friends with Chrissie Mayr. You should unfriend her because she was at the Capitol." And it's
Oh my
crazy to me.
gosh.
Like it's crazy to me that people would spend their time, like strangers would spend
Mhm.
their time trying to get other people unfriended off Facebook. I'm like, nobody, like Facebook is dead. Like
Right?
Facebook is for 65-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's like what is the concern here? But that's wild. But I'm saying that because it sounds like people in your sphere, maybe they were friends of yours, people you had
Mhm.
worked with, maybe people
Yep.
you had like wanted to work with one day.
Mhm.
You see them talking shit, or you can go, "Oh, wow, like they're calling from my head." How did that make you feel?
Oh, it made me feel terrible. It was honestly a very difficult thing to go through, and I didn't want them to see that vulnerable side of me at the time. So, yeah, maybe behind my monitor or my phone that I was reading all this, I was emotional and heartbroken, honestly. But I didn't want them to see that side of me. I wanted to be strong because that's what they do. They cry bully and they want to break you. And I thought, you know what? This is so much bigger than just me getting potential work in this industry. This is a much bigger thing than that. And I have to stay strong and stand my ground. And I can't fold to the mob. And I didn't. And thankfully, even though the bigger names and the fellow colleagues and other streamers, they didn't necessarily publicly have my back, and either they were indifferent uh or they were jumping on that hate train too. And so then that hurt, but then it really put things into perspective though, because despite that vocal minority and then the people that I would potentially be working with, uh, the vast majority of replies in general, I'm talking 98% or more, were all very supportive of me. So at the end of the day, I'm like, does it really matter what kind of title someone has just because they're ahead of this development studio or just because they have this many followers? That doesn't make them any more special than this person that has 20 followers who has my back right now. And it put a whole lot of things into perspective for me.
Yeah, definitely. And then the big story, I think last week or for the last 2 weeks was um Frosk on G4.
Mhm.
And I again like not familiar. I wasn't familiar with G4. I know it was something like folks who used to watch it back in the day, maybe in like the early aughts. It was like a little bit funnier, a little bit like tongue in cheek. They had
Mhm.
Olivia Munn on. She would like use her sexuality and have fun with it. And
Right.
now we have Frosk, who's like more of like, she has sort of like a woodland elf creature. I'm not saying like,
Mhm.
I mean, like she's definitely not ugly. Like she just has
Right.
shorter hair
Mhm.
and she's got like a fun, like butch lesbian look. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think she is a lesbian. It doesn't even
she is.
matter. But
I
I'm
mean,
just like,
yeah, she is.
for people that have like never seen her and don't know what I'm talking about. And it's interesting, and she had kind of a rant where she went from talking about a video game to being like, "Well, actually, now I wanna talk about something more important, and it's sexism in gaming," and it seemed like a planned kind of
Mhm.
insertion,
Right.
to kind of virtue signal, and, I haven't seen other than like, I guess myself and the Friday Night Tights guys, we kind of poke fun at her and we're like, what are you doing? Like,
Right.
it seems like mostly the fans of G4 and X-Play have been coming at her really hard, but it
Mhm.
doesn't seem like anybody else really in the industry, like, they're all kind of like, yeah, applauding her.
Right.
Like, certainly all her colleagues are like, yeah, have her back, which is fine, but I don't know, it to me, it seemed like she was sort of forcing an issue that was maybe
Mhm.
just personally affecting her rather than just, like, trying to be professional and do her job, and, like, maybe to me, it looked like, okay, she doesn't have maybe a very thick skin or
Mhm.
and it's like, you don't I don't know, I just wanna know what your take on this
Yeah.
was because I feel like you're somebody who is, not constantly worried
Right.
if people find you attractive or don't.
Right.
You just do you.
Yeah. I mean, my perspective from that is I think what here's the thing is I've hosted so many things and so is she. So I'm not saying I'm like more experienced or better than her. I'm just sharing my perspective and how I see it. Is when I've done hosting and stuff for like League of Legends All Chat or even GameStop TV, one thing that I was told, especially with those two shows, is that there were hosts before me, and so when I got on the show, they let me know, just so you know, when a new host shows up on something, the viewers, you're gonna get a lot of hate comments, but they ain't used to you yet. It's not that there's anything wrong with you inherently. It's just that they're just not used to you and they miss what they're familiar with because people like what they're familiar with. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. At first, I got a lot of hate comments. I got a lot of like comments that were just kind of the low hanging fruit stuff, just making fun of me for whatever shallow reason, my voice or anything else. And so I just let it go. And yeah, it did bother me, but I just let it go, kept going. Sure enough, after some time, the more people liked me and everything kind of smooths over. And then by the time I ended up leaving those things, then everyone's like, oh man, I miss Melanie. She was my favorite. And all of a sudden it's like most people love me. And that's just the nature of hosting something. And in this case, what I think it is I don't think it was a misogyny thing. I think what it is the viewers miss Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb because that's what they're familiar with. That's who they grew up watching, and they miss them. And so this is a big change of pace for them. And it doesn't justify what they were saying to her because, yeah, when you start talking about someone's looks and stuff like that, that can be kind of mean. But yeah, I mean, I think that had she not had that little, outburst, and just waited it out, then things would have just smoothed over eventually. It just takes time, and that's just part of it. She's entitled to her opinions. I don't think it's a misogyny issue. It's just this happens. But she's entitled to her opinions and she can vocalize that. But that's just my take on it.
Yeah, it seemed like she definitely shined a light on something where if she hadn't mentioned it, it wouldn't have gotten as much attention. And then you of course have a segment of people that are like, "Oh, now I'm gonna go even harder at her
Yep.
for this."
It made it worse.
Like
It
once you
did.
let people know, we all have our insecurities, but when you
Yep.
let people know what they are, then of course people are gonna take advantage of
Yes.
that.
Exactly.
Have you ever felt like do you feel like there is a sexism in gaming problem? Or do you feel like it comes down to the individual? Like, do you have a thick skin? Like, or don't you?
I think with gamers as a whole, there's not. But there is some corruption in the gaming industry. Um, there's a whole world of problems in the gaming industry. So, some sexism being a part of that to some degree, yes, within and not, not every dev is corrupt or anything, but a lot of the more higher up people are. And you're finding a lot of these types of scandals and stuff that are coming out as a result. With Blizzard right now, they got a lot of stuff going on, which I haven't.
What is Blizzard?
Blizzard, they make like World of Warcraft.
Okay.
You probably have heard of that.
I have heard of World of
Okay,
Warcraft.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and so they're a really huge company, and yeah, a lot of stuff, a lot of bad stuff went down there. And League of Legends, for example, they had a lawsuit regarding sexism, and they've recently settled that, and they're paying like every female employee that was hired from X date to Y date a certain settlement amount because of it. And I've seen some of it. I have seen some of it. Like you know, when I've hosted before in the gaming industry, and where I've interviewed another like female content creator, it's kind of like what we're doing right now. Now just imagine we have a director in front of us, and before they start the cameras, the director says, okay, now before we start, I need to watch you make out.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Like, is that what we're doing? Is this the industry we're in?
Yeah. And so in that situation, so
For real, that happened?
and I was
Oh my God.
extremely uncomfortable. So yeah, I'm not
When?
oh, this has been like
Is this with the Blizzard people or
2015.
somebody
No,
else?
not
Okay.
Blizzard. Yeah.
Damn, though.
Yeah.
That's wild. Like a casting couch situation, but in an industry that you would not suspect that to happen. Like I can understand
Right.
Hollywood, obviously the adult industry that is
Yeah.
part of it.
Well,
But
that's the thing is the
wow.
gaming industry is turning more into Hollywood by the minute in more ways than one. And so that's what I find so odd about it is that the industry as a whole will be the first to pander to be woke and all this stuff. Oh yeah, we believe in female empowerment and Women's History Month or Day or whatever it is, and they're parading that. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, it's the higher ups in these exact same corporations who are mistreating women. It's
Wow.
all just to hide their own skeletons. And they want to accuse your average gamer of misogyny just because they might make a kitchen joke on Xbox Live. It's just that ain't the same thing. And we can't get to a point to where we're so easily offended and so shook over just some smack talk. You know?
Right. And that is how that's a very male, it's like, comedy and gaming are both very
Right.
heavily male spaces. And part of that joking around and ribbing is like, and roasting is how men kind of bond and communicate. And like that might seem foreign to like women who maybe don't have a lot of male friends, but
Mhm.
that is like kind of can almost be like a sign of endearment or like a
Yes.
part of the
That's
acceptance process.
that's how I see it. And you
Mhm.
know, I grew up with two brothers. Like I've always had a bunch of dude friends. Like I fit in. I like to fit in as one of the guys when I'm hanging out with them. And so for them to even anyone like that to even like roast me like that, then it makes me feel like, oh, they're roasting me just like they're doing the dudes, you know? It makes me it's almost endearing in a way, like you just said. It's like,
Like
oh,
they're
they must
testing
feel,
you. They're
yeah,
like,
it's like
"Can you hang? Can you like, are you good at some fun?"
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, dish it right back, man. That's part of the game. And at the end of the day, when it comes to like gaming and talking on voice comms, these are competitive situations. And when you look at any competitive environment, you look at sports, you look at all that, like everybody's always talking smack to each other. And people are like, oh, but you shouldn't have to make it personal. Well, then it ain't talking smack if you don't make it personal. You know what I mean?
Right. There was a girl gamer, and I forget what her name was. I think we showed a clip on Friday Night Tights, and, like, she responded with the most perfect thing. She was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have sex with your dad, and we're gonna get pregnant or something.
Yeah,
We're gonna get pregnant, and I'm gonna give him this, like, a son he'll actually love or something like
yes.
that." Oh, it was so good. It was so perfect. I'm like, "That's what you do." Like, if someone
Yes.
says, "I don't find you attractive," just say, that's not what your dad said." Like,
Mhm.
you can so easily just respond with any version of like, "That's not what your dad said," or "That's not,
Yes.
what your mom said," depending on how you swing. Um, it's not all so serious. So it's interesting to hear that the sexism or the corruption in gaming or like what's wrong is not so much with your everyday player, but with, you know, the executives or
The virtue
yeah.
signalers. Those who virtue signal the loudest are the most guilty. It's the allies that they end up having the biggest dirt come up on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is so crazy. Like, why are we doing this to our poor M&Ms? Like, what is
I know.
I was listening to because you had it was this Asian lady. She was talking about like why they need to, and I was like, let me listen to this. Like, why they need to redo the M&Ms, and I was like, I can't believe she's saying this with a straight face right now.
I
She's like,
know.
we need all different sizes, inclusivity. And I'm like, what? You have with nuts and without nuts. Like, let the green. I guess everyone was panicking. They're like, oh shit, we only have one girl M&M.
Well, technically there's two. There's the brown one too. She's a girl.
Was she
And
always a girl though?
yes, and this is well, I
Okay.
don't know about always, but at least within the past, I don't know, 10 years. But here's my theory on it, okay? Because the green M&M, they like change her whole demeanor. They give her they
She
take
was
away the
slutty,
flesh
she was
colored.
fun.
Yeah. Well, she was originally created when she was first created. I remember the commercials were very much focused on the fact that men found her attractive. Because I remember, I don't have like super vivid memories, but I
men
remember guys
wanted to put
swooning
her
over
in
her.
their mouth and
Yes.
let her melt.
They were swooning over her essentially. So she was designed like that. You know, she was hot. Like, okay, this is great. And the brown M&M. So while they've made these changes with the green M&M, the brown M&M, she's allowed to have flash colored arms and high heels. But here's the difference: is the brown M&M is at the very least lesbian, because I don't remember when this
they're a
happened.
couple, green and brown. I
Yeah.
saw a picture of them sitting
Yes,
together on the
you
beach.
remember. And so
Scissoring.
all I can figure, and all I can figure is that's why that's allowed with her, but it's not allowed with the green one, because the green one, even though they were together, so the
Oh.
green one's at least bi, or even if she's not, at least men are attracted to her.
And the
And-
green M&M has at this point absolutely fucked all the other M&Ms. You know what I mean? Like they've been in a bag together for how long? She was like sexy, and everybody, it's a bunch of dudes. Like, and then the brown one, I didn't know her gender either way, but I was like, for sure, she's banged everybody in that bag.
Or they at least wanted to, and she like teased them, and she's like, nope, look, but
Yeah,
can't touch.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
simps.
all I can figure with it. Is it's just like the reason why they demonize these attractive or sexualized women is only if it's men who find them attractive. If it's the other way around, it's okay, but it's the male gaze that's evil to them.
It also limits what women can find attractive. Like
Mhm.
what a big sloppy fat Lizzo. Everyone's like, "Go girl, you're so empowering. Oh, you're full of comorbidities. This is so brave." Like whatever it is, but it's like, what if you're a woman who doesn't find that attractive? Well, then it's like it's so limited. It's like this is a very limiting way to view attractiveness, really.
Right.
And like what about the women who like to express themselves like in a very feminine way? Are they
Mhm.
wrong? That doesn't sound accepting to me.
Well, they seem to be okay if they're getting money for it. That's their double standard there. Is it's like, okay, well, if men are paying you to look at you like that, it's fine. But if you just exist and men are attracted to you and you're okay with it, then it's a problem.
Then you're being a pick me. Like I hate the idea that you
Yes.
to get yourself looking like good. Like I realized over the years I had my hair very short. I have it longer now. I think I look
Mhm.
better with it long. It was blonde, now it's red. I mean, I might still change the color. The point is it's like, all right, there were for a while I was like, I think dresses look better on me than pants. Now I'm slowly getting back into pants. Like the point is it's like why can't you be allowed to express yourself how you
Right.
want? And then if I happen to be basically a woman who likes to express myself pretty feminine,
Mhm.
but no one's making me do that. No man is making me do that. The idea that I could only be doing this is for male attention and male approval is like the most unfeminist thought you could have.
It is. It really is. It's like, oh, well, unless you are parroting our approved narrative, you can't have a unique thought of your own. Surely that's for other men, because women can't think for themselves.
Yeah.
That's basically what that's saying.
And it's like, right, you have to be an angry land whale, or like you can look however you want, but you know, you have to be charging whatever X amount on OnlyFans,
Right.
or you better be getting paid, girl. But like,
Yeah.
so what? We can only be land whales or sex workers? Like that doesn't seem very accepting. That seems
Right.
very limiting.
And I think that this whole narrative is coming from people who used to call themselves so inclusive or want to act like they're so inclusive. And it's like, well, if you're so inclusive, I get it. I get it if you want to, appreciate different body types, this, that, and the other. But that doesn't mean completely demonizing one of them. If you're going to appreciate different body types, you got to appreciate that hyper femme, sultry type as well. That
And
goes with it.
it almost seems like I don't know, like there's a sourness to it. Like, well, it's like they know what commercially hot is, or they know what conventional attractiveness looks like, and it's almost like nobody can be that, you know?
Right.
It's like nobody like we all know what's hot, but
Yeah.
like we're pretending that we don't. And it's like, what? Nobody can get attention? I don't know. It's kind of insane. I've tried to like talk about this in a logical way, and you just can't because it's illogical
Right.
and it's inspired by, I think, like mental illness and feminism. And I can say that because I was
Yeah.
part of that gang, you know?
And I fell into it to some degree at one point too. And I think for me, the reason that did that is, I grew up in a Christian household. I'm Christian now. But unfortunately, part of that is being exposed to like the Pharisee type Christians as well, who are the self-righteous, holier than thou type that obviously don't reflect all Christians. But I think I kind of reached a point to where I had enough of that and I was sick of it. And so then I did kind of, hey, let me turn over to this other side a little bit. Let's see what's going on over there. And then what seemed like they were so accepting and so inclusive and caring, it turned out that they were even bigger bullies than what I had experienced on the other side.
They're both strict on either side. Like I saw you had one tweet that was like, even looking at a woman in a lustful way, you've already committed adultery, like just by
Right.
a
And
look.
well, and the thing is with that is people take that out of context, and you've seen that taken out of context within the more Pharisee type Christians is that when Jesus told the men that oh well then that means it must be the woman's responsibility, but that goes even against what Jesus said. Jesus said Jesus told the men that so that the men would control themselves, not to tell women to cover up. It's
Oh,
all of our
interesting.
responsibility. Yeah, it's all of our responsibility. Like what you dwell on and what you think about, that's on you, and how you view other people. And so if you're going to view someone as nothing more than an object and you're not going to view them as a human being, well, that's your fault, ain't it?
And you can see by like Muslim culture, the women are totally covered up, and it's like the men are kind of like not responsible for their actions in that way. It's 100% on the woman to cover themselves up, and 0% on the guy for controlling their impulses or
Right.
like, their behaviors. And right, because and even especially in this country, like even if you dress more conservatively or more demure, it's like there's always going to be you know what I mean? Like there's
Oh yeah.
always going to be a woman who shows a lot of skin and is hot, and it's like, and it's good. People should fucking
Right.
embrace their
That's the thing.
hotness.
It doesn't matter what you wear. If a guy is going to be a creep, he's going to be a creep whether you're wearing sweatpants and no makeup or you're in a dress and all dolled up. It doesn't matter. A creep will be a creep regardless.
True. I
Yeah.
love creeps. I'm gonna go speaking of creeps though. Young Pei Ching, my only Asian fan. Hi guys. Hi Young Pei. Love you. From Phil Fat. Oh, this is
Hi.
one of your people?
Well,
How do we
we're
pronounce this?
mutuals.
Oh, okay.
I
Phil.
listen to All That Remains. He's
Oh,
the
Phil
lead
That
singer.
Remains.
Yeah, he's the lead singer of All That Remains, and I've been listening to them
Ooh.
since I was a teenager. And so
It's
now
a good
that
band. Should I check them
yeah,
out?
and so
Okay.
then like seeing Phil here, he shares a lot of takes that I agree with regarding like political climate and things like that. And so yeah, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh wow, this is really neat." Like you just when you think of a band that you've listened to for so long, and then you make kind of that connection of like, "Oh, and he's based. That's awesome."
Yeah, I used to love Matt Nathanson when I was in college, and then I
Mhm.
just checked in on his Twitter, and he's like a singer-songwriter. He's basically like if John Mayer had never come along, this guy would have been a lot more famous, but unfortunately, John Mayer kind of beat him to it. And I
Right.
checked his Twitter recently, and I was like, "Oh, no, he's woke, he's brainwashed." I was like it made me like him less. I was like, "Ugh."
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but Phil That Remains says, "Mel's a sweetheart and super wholesome on Twitter."
Thank
Yes.
you.
We love wholesome. Oh my gosh. Ryan Kinnell. Thin Mints. He's here to debate his Thin
Let's
Mint
go.
cookies.
Let's go. Fresh breath.
What is this? Okay, when we're talking about Girl Scout cookies, what are your feelings? What are your feelings, Melanie? Do you
Ooh. Well, I mostly eat of the keto variety these days, but if
okay?
I were to partake in them, I can't remember which one it's called, but it's like that chocolate one with like some sort of
Gooey coconut Samoa?
caramel in the middle.
I think is it the gooey one in like a circle with a hole in the
Yes.
middle?
Yes.
Samoa.
Those are my faves.
Yeah, Ryan thinks that if you eat those, that you're inbred, which is like
Uh-oh.
half the country loves. I think Samoas and tagalongs are the best because the tagalongs are the ones with like the peanut butter in the middle, and you can like push your thumb
Oh,
through it.
I'm about that. Peanut butter is like one of my
Oh,
favorite things.
and Thin Mints, like, all right. So Anna's in the chat. What's up, Anna? My
Hi.
feelings about Thin Mints is I just think they're a little boring, and I feel like it's more like the people that come to bat for Thin Mints are aggressive about it and angry, and I'm like, what is it with everybody defending their Thin Mint in like an aggressive way? I don't know. Maybe I'm looking into it too much, but like no Thin Mints, and I get it. They're good in the freezer. You can throw them in ice cream, but like I'm not
Mhm.
gonna just eat a sleeve of Thin Mints. Like it's
Like,
to me,
I'm
it's
not
like a
gonna lie, I'm
topping.
with you on that.
It's a
That's
topping, you know?
that is way too grown up of a flavor, you
It
know?
is. It's grown up. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Yeah. It's a grown up flavor.
Yeah.
Young Pay back for 2. Kirby is perfection. Is Kirby that fat, like,
That the pink
pink boy?
yeah, and he can, like, eat things and
Oh,
gain some of their
yeah.
properties. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm learning.
You're gonna be a
Rage
gamer by the time I'm done talking to you.
Oh my god, I'm gonna blow off my Sega Genesis, blow the dust off. Raging Patty, play the Perry Chan video, Chrissy. Oh boy. I did an impression of Frosk because I never heard of her. I just love
Right.
to like do character impressions. Well, she's a real person,
Well,
so it's not a
you're a
character.
comedian.
But
That's what you
yeah,
do.
it's fun. I like to mimic and observe and like get somebody's like moves down and all right, so maybe Frank can find that
Okay.
rap and I can play it in a little bit. G Diddy. Jesus H Christ, Chrissy. You work so hard. Your shows are always entertaining and you're so supportive to other creators. Much love. Thanks, G Diddy. Tell P Diddy I say hi. I wonder if they're related. Crash Mondo for 2. I think Melanie needs to be on the CMP. I second that. Yes, please come on
I'm
CMP
down.
sometime.
I'm so down.
It's like this, but crazier. And then there's many of us. Papa Kanisu, I know you're watching, Cecil. Get Melanie on the Jack Show. Ooh, she's in demand. No use for
Let's get her.
pants. Melanie on FNT. When? Chrissy, get Gary in that. Yeah, I think you would be great on that show as well.
Awesome.
Wow. I love it. Snapping at your girl, as they should. Young Pay, 5 for Frank. I can't believe it's only Tuesday. Ah! Frank is my producer / man toy.
Okay. Yeah, we emailed back and forth a little bit.
/
Hi, Frank.
Aw, he's waving. I need to get him a microphone someday. Drunk 3PO.
Let's go.
Go, Mel. Great to see you here. Chrissy is good people. So is Drunk
Yes.
3PO.
Yes, indeed.
Daniel Villarreal. I had a dream with you, Chrissy. We were a couple. Ha ha ha. Ha. I didn't even watch the videos of you yesterday. I have a girlfriend too. What is going on? What is going on? This is more of a CMP comment here. You know, I have dreams with random people too. Like I had a
Yeah.
dream that one of the dogs could talk. I had a dream that
Oh.
the turtle could talk once. So I actually have many dream books. Like I love to look up the meaning of dreams.
Mhm.
It's like one of my I have at least 3 dream books that I can see right now.
Oh, that's
Dreams,
cool.
astrology. I'm such a chick in that way. But it might be, I don't know, maybe it's like what did I look up? And I'm definitely not a celebrity, but I've looked up when you do have like a sex dream about a celebrity, it means like you admire a quality about them or something like that.
Oh,
So
really?
it's
Okay.
not necessarily about sexual attraction. It could just be about like you appreciate something.
Right.
Loose Cannon. When is your album out, Chrissy? It should be out next month. I'm hoping. It's being worked on right now. I'm not the one doing it, so I don't even know how far along it is, but Aaron Berg is handling it and he's starting a new record label called Uncancelable Records, which is like a perfect name. And he's one of my all-time favorite comedians. So it is in good hands with him, and I'll let you guys know as soon as it's ready. I gotta find that clip of the song. because now it's like it was an impression, and then Perry Chan turned it into a rap, like put a real beat down with it, and then somebody in a comment said, "You gotta listen to this at 1.5 speed." So we've been listening to it like just a little bit faster, and it's like really catchy now. It's like a real
Okay.
song, and it's hard because I listen to it and then I go, "Oh, right, that's me. Am I being
Right.
like too vain?"
No.
So most importantly, Gina Carano followed you.
Yes. I
What? How did this happen?
that was the most starstruck I've ever been, which is kind of hilarious because I've like interviewed celebrities before for different projects, and it's always like, oh, that's neat, that's cool. But I haven't like flipped out too much over it. But when Gina Carano followed me, well, first she just like commented on my video and was like, haha, accurate, I think is what she said. And I was like,
Uh.
I was freaking out. And I like texted my mom. I'm like sending her a screen cap and I'm like shaking. Oh my gosh, she liked my video.
Your mom knows
And
who Gina Carano is? That's pretty neat.
Yeah, she's a fan of The Mandalorian, so yeah. I have a
Wow, that's
nerdy
great.
family. It's pretty great. So yeah, I told her, and then after that, shortly after I saw she hit me with a follow back, and I mean I'd already been following her for a long time, but she hit me with that follow, and I was freaking out. It just made my whole year. I'm good, and honestly, it's what I really needed to, because since I've been a lot more open about my opinions on things, and even though the
Oh.
support has been mostly good, it's still the mean people, and then the people who I'm colleagues with and who I thought were my friends, and almost every single day I'm finding out one other person I thought was my friend unfollowed me.
Isn't that crazy? This is my life as well.
I
Yeah.
know. And so then it hurts. It hurts. And it's like, oh, okay. And what I feel like they want me to do, just shut up and be pretty. Like that's what it feels like. Just shut up and be pretty. If you're not going to parrot their narrative, then just shut up and be pretty. And I'm like,
Wow.
I want to be able to vocalize, and I just don't understand, because I stay friends with people. I've followed even Frosk before all that, and I stayed following her even if I don't agree with her,
Have you
because
talked to her?
I haven't ever talked to her. I don't think she follows me back, but I followed her because I thought she was a good host, and I saw
Yeah.
her like do her League of Legends stuff in the past. I was like, man, she's really hanging with the guys on this. Let's go. And so I followed her, and I
Well, that's
stayed following
good.
her because like that's the thing, is people don't have to agree with me for me to like them. I can disagree and still like them. And so it just hurts seeing I'm not getting that same that same respect back from people who I thought were my friends. And so then just seeing Gina Carano follow me, I needed it. I just needed it. It brightened up my day, and it was just some sort of validation of, okay, girl, stay strong, keep using your voice, don't let anyone
Wow.
shut you up. Yeah.
So her following you actually like made you feel empowered to like keep
It did.
going and not hide your feelings
Mhm.
and opinions.
It absolutely did, big time.
Oh my God. That's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I think does she follow me? She might. I don't know. I should check.
Yeah, and if you
Gina
really
follows-
want to
okay.
unpack female empowerment, and if they want to, the woke side loves to talk about, oh, look at this empowering woman for sharing her opinion. If it's an approved narrative, then how is that brave when it's the approved narrative? If you
Right.
really want to talk about female empowerment, look at Gina Carano. She faced
Yeah.
the mob, she got fired, and she still spoke her voice. So whether you agree with everything she says or not, you can't deny that that's a power move, dude.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was waiting. I'm watching Boba Fett, so I'm like waiting, hoping. I'm like, oh, maybe is she gonna pop in? Is she maybe gonna pop
I
in?
wish.
I don't know. I think
I
it's like
wish.
a girl can dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's really neat. I think even if my mom died a couple years ago, even
Aw.
if she were still alive, I have
Right.
to say that in a way that doesn't bring down the room.
Right.
She still would have no clue. Like she
Right.
would like confuse uploading and downloading. So I think
Oh.
she was extra boomery. But that's really
Mhm.
awesome. Gina's the shit. I would love to, Gina, if you're listening, would love to get you. I mean, I'm sure everybody would love to get her on their show. But yeah, would love to get Gina on CMPcast. Low pressure. We'll just talk about our simps,
Yes.
which I'm sure she has many, including Drunk 3PO, who's currently in the chat. Okay, here's the song. Have you seen
Alright.
this impression at all that I did? Probably not. Okay,
I
then this,
haven't.
okay, perfect, good. Then this is
Okay.
not going to be super redundant. All right, here
I'm
we go.
excited.
Oh God. And if you guys have heard this before, sorry. I probably by the end of this week, and then I'll be done.
You're about to get frostbitten.
Get him!
Fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. All you geeks and gamers better stop jerking off to me, okay? I smell like burnt hair, Julie. That isn't stopping you. I talk to you like you're retarded because I think you're all retarded. I see the chat. I see you in the chat. Hit an F right now. Jerking off to your girl. Frostbitten. Now press F if you're not jerking off. Frostbitten. Why did I tights? Now press F if you're not jerking off. I see the chat. I see you in the chat. Hit an F right now. Jerking off to your girl.
Do not come. Do not.
I am not qualified. Go ahead. Take my day. Call me Beaver Barbie.
Bitch, you're that goddamn ugly.
I jerked off to the dislike ratio.
I'm not hot to you.
No.
What in the heck did I just walk into?
Wow. People keep confusing me for prepubescent and Justin Bieber. Someone in the chat called me M&M mid-transition. Frostbitten. Now press F if you're not jerking off. Frostbitten. Why did I cut? Frostbitten. Now press F if you're not jerking off. I see the chat. I see you in the chat. Hit an F right now. Jerking off to your girl. I'm standing up for all the women at G4. Emily, Abby, Megyn, Joe, Jake, Zipper, Pockets, Scissors, Tape Dispenser, and Filing Cabinet.
Who is Zipper?
X-ray girl. She is a beautiful young Oriental. X-ray girl.
Give me cock. Ask them the price of cock.
X-ray girl. I'll next for you to stroke your chopstick to.
Hey, there it is.
I kind of want you to roast me, but I'm scared of how that would. You're too good at it.
Oh my God. Well, that's very edited. I mean, like, I think the whole bit might have been 7 or 10 minutes or something. Oh my God. But Perry Chan is just an ultimate legendary
Yeah.
boss of editing skills. But like, what would I do? I would do a wig. I would just like, and it was so easy for her. She had a tattoo. I just was like,
Right.
in a mirror, I just had to write backwards, like bad tattoo. And I was like, I don't even know if this is going the right way. You know,
Right.
like how an ambulance is backwards. I just was like, I don't know. The Sharpie, it didn't come off for like 2 days.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was a good time.
I think a good roasting, it's fun. It's fun. We need more of that on the internet. I think we need to stop taking everything so serious. I'm ready for the internet to be fun again.
Girl, same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone does take themselves too seriously, and not everything has to be so politically correct. Such a good example. Like the way that most people like to have fun and joke around is to say stuff that's kind of racial, kind of misogynist, kind of like we all do it. Even the people who pretend to be like perfect and morally,
Mhm.
upstanding or whatever. It's like it's just now the thing that's in fashion is to like make fun of white people, and
Right.
you're not considered racist if you shit on white people or you make fun of them, or whether it's our coleslaw or our potato salad.
Yeah, and I'm just I
yeah.
don't know. I think you can't just completely limit jokes. You got to let people have fun. And it's more fun to be roasted in general. I mean, just think of yourself and ourselves. What if somebody is roasting us? It's more personal
It's
when they
flattering,
make it personal.
kind
It's
of,
flattering.
yeah.
It is. Because when people make a personal roast at me, then it's like, okay, they had to know enough about me to even know that it's a flattering thing, and it's funny to be like, oh yeah, I do that, or maybe I do say that, or maybe this is an exaggerated version of how I act. That's hilarious. You gotta laugh, be able to laugh at ourselves.
And I think a good impression is like you can't just be shitting on a person. Like I don't like to do that when I
Right.
do an impression. You have to get to know them and like
Yep.
speak from their point of view. And like when I did Jen Psaki, she was answering a question about like a jab side effect that was
Mhm.
really bad that happened to this kid. And like me as Jen Psaki, like, well, that's extremely rare. You know, it's like you have to.
Right.
You can't just do an impression where it's all negative because it's like you're hitting the same
Exactly.
note over and over again.
Mhm.
Okay, so I've been working on maybe trying to get Frosk. I would love to interview her. And
Ooh.
I'm just now seeing, okay, Frank just sent me this. She tweeted out, what is this today? Like literally an hour ago, to all these drama farming YouTubers. You can always reach out to my agent if you'd like to schedule a discussion. Didn't we do that? Didn't we reach out to her? We did.
Yes.
Did we inspire this tweet?
I think she's lying
You think she's lying, Frank?
because I think the quartering also reached out.
The quartering also reached out. Drunk 3PO reached out.
But look through lots of. I think she's just virgin.
Oh, interesting. Isn't it? I'm shocked that she hasn't blocked me yet. Shocked. She's blocked so many of the Friday Night Tights people. Here's
Oh.
Frank here following up with your PR again. Hoping it must just he did follow up as of 20 minutes ago. I must have slipped through the cracks and that you are genuinely looking to have a discussion. Oh, Frank, holding her feet to the fire. Here we go. Here's drunk. How do I get in contact with, quote, the agent? Notice how she hasn't replied, lol. She has replied to these in support, saying they won't get in contact, but here you are putting on the table. I would love, it doesn't have to be with me. I would love to see
Right.
her talk to anybody about this. I would love to hear a
Yeah.
response, like a real conversation. Again, no cue cards, no teleprompter, no pre-written
Right.
script, like
Mhm.
just from the heart, off the dome. Doesn't have to be polished. I would love to just hear her thoughts on this. Oh, here's even X-Ray Girl from my song.
Oh.
I'm from Geeks and Gamers Nerdrotic. Please post your agent's contact info if you truly mean this. DMs are always Oh, I love that so many people. Oh my God, Nina. Nina's fucking awesome. She's done CMCast a bunch. She's a great
Oh,
girl.
I think I just recently followed her because she replied to some of my stuff and she seemed great.
They won't. Of course not, but the avenue is there and I'll gladly do it pro bono. Waiting still. Email the oh man, Frank's really trying with her. Oh no, this is a picture of me in a bathing suit. Great.
Well, you look great.
Oh,
I must
sun-dried
say.
boobs. Don't look at it. Look away. Look away. Look away.
Hey, that's kind of all the rage in the weeb world. Us anime watchers, like you ever see like anime waifus with tan lines and stuff? That's a thing. Some people really
That's
like
my
that.
goal. My goal. I just started working out this morning. My goal is to be a waifu by spring. Oh, I don't even know what
you
that is. But I
got
know
this.
I know it's a good thing. I know it's something
Yes,
to aspire to.
it's a good thing.
I want to. So, when did you start like getting into like gaming and streaming and content? Was it 2013? Was that
Oh
kind of
gosh.
your beginning?
I started before then. I made my first video. Well, I've been in gaming my whole life, but I didn't do content creation until like 2000, late 2009, early 2010 is when I first started. And it's funny because the reason why I did is because I looked up to people like Jessica Chobot. She was a host for IGN back then around that time. And so she would do hosting and talk about video games and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I want to do that. But my only problem was like I grew up homeschooled up until college. I was always that
You
nerdy
were
homeschool girl.
homeschooled?
Yes.
You're so put together. You're
I know,
like not
people
weird
don't-
or anything.
People don't realize, and
Good
plus,
for
if,
you.
if you saw me when I was like 16 and you see me now, it's different people, man. I learned how to style myself a little bit, you know. There's a difference. So, but anyway, yeah, I that nerdy homeschool girl is still there in here, and she'll never
Good.
leave. But I started making YouTube videos because I was so ridiculously shy, and especially in front of camera. Yeah, there was like a local camera crew that was around there during like some stuff going on. I grew up in a military family, and so there's stuff going on base, and so they were interviewing people. And so they interviewed me and I just choked. I froze. I didn't know what to say. And after that, I was like, man, if I can't even do an interview for a local radio station about this stuff going on base, how can I get like that kind of job where I'm hosting for video games? And I knew I had to do something. So I started my YouTube channel, and you'll see like a stark difference in that camera shy, hi, I'm Melanie, versus now, I'm like, what's up, guys? Hey.
Yeah.
But I think
Good
that's
for
a-
you for being able to for having the
Yeah.
self-awareness to
Yeah.
see an area where you need to improve, and then you're just like you aggressively run towards it instead of shying away like so many people
Mhm.
do, like, oh, I don't want to do the thing that feels hard that I suck at. It's like, but that's the only way you get better.
Right. Yeah.
It's like public speaking and what is that? That's one of the top fears is public speaking and like
Mhm.
nudity or something.
Oh yeah, like being naked in public. I think that's why a lot of us have those dreams sometimes, and we're like, "Oh no, what do I
Oh
do?"
yeah, I do have dreams where I'm totally naked, and I'm like, I think it's real. I'm like, how did this happen? I'm like, you idiot. You know what I mean? Like, really? You have no clothes? Get it together, Mayor.
Yep. Yep.
And that's so neat. Do you feel? It sounds like you had a little bit of a journey with, like you had a religious upbringing. I was raised
Mhm.
Methodist too, which was like, it's kind of like, it's pretty light. It's like
Right.
it's Christianity, but it's like Protestant, so it's like, eh.
Yeah, that's kind
You
of
go to
like
church for the holidays, it's like not so much
okay.
about worshiping idols and stuff. It's like it was good. It was like family.
Right.
I got confirmed, then we kind of stopped going.
Mhm.
But do you feel like you're kind of coming back to it? Because I like one of the
Oh
reasons why I
yeah.
love your Twitter is you post a lot of like verses, and I'm like, oh, this is
Mhm.
good. This is like feel good stuff right here.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. I mean, I grew up. I grew up in it. Like, I went to like non-denominational or Assembly of God type churches. And so, yeah, I just grew up with that all my life, and kind of like stuck to it for the most part. But then I kind of went through a rebellious phase late in life. Like I said, I was a homeschool nerd, so I feel like socially, I was probably about 10 years behind most people. Academically, I was good, I was ahead, but socially, I wasn't quite as used to things. And so, while most people go through their rebellious phase at like 17, I went through my rebellious phase at like 25. So I went through a period of like a few years there where I kind of turned my back on my faith and stuff, and uh tried to navigate things a different way. And I just really have no other way to explain it other than I feel like God brought me back, just like the Bible says, where it's just like he'll come back for that one sheep that went astray, and he'll walk
Aw.
away from the 99 to go grab that one and bring it back to the flock. And I feel like
Aw.
that's what happened with me. And so my faith has just brought me a lot more joy, a lot more purpose in life, and I feel like it makes me a better person. And so I'm really happy to be back in it for sure.
It makes you appreciate the little things a lot more, and it helps you, like, practice gratitude,
Mhm.
and, it wasn't like I'm, like, really curious about the Bible. I've been saying this for months, like, "I gotta get a Bible and start reading it," 'cause, my friend Elijah was like, "Yeah, Proverbs is all self-help. It's all, like,
Right.
uplifting." I'm like, "I love that shit."
It
I love
is.
uplifting quotes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for
So,
sure.
I think a Bible purchase is in my future.
There you go.
I'm gonna, like, be like an e-girl that's like, "Here's my Amazon wish list," and they'll be like,
Put
"Ooh,"
a
and like,
Bible on
"Buy
it.
me a Bible."
I love it. I love it.
And dog toys and, underpants. Here's Daniel. Thank you for the clarification. Yes, feel free to keep dreaming about me, though. I do not mind it. Matthew Hammond, the Peanut Butter Co. Peanut butter is the best. Oh,
All
we
right.
is this cookies? All right, I'll give that a whirl. Sheriff, every friend we've lost to the culture war is more time to spend with new ones who don't hate us. Yeah, absolutely. That's my favorite part about the last couple of years is like
Mhm.
I've formed closer, more meaningful bonds with just internet friends, like
Oh
people
yeah.
I haven't even met yet, than with like people I've known my whole life. So
Mhm.
Husey, oh, what's up, Husey? Does Melanie think that Gina Carano will change her opinions now that she's taking Frankie McDonald? What?
I don't know what that means. I don't even know who Frankie McDonald's
He's
is.
he's an autistic meteorologist out of Canada. He went
Oh,
viral, I guess, years
okay.
ago. But he's
Well,
a fun guy. He calls into Compound Media all the time. He's a
right.
sweet kid.
I mean, I think Gina, she's shown that she'll stand strong in what she believes in, no matter what. So I mean, my opinion on the matter is, if for any topic out there, if she were to see evidence that was compelling, I'm sure she would look into it. But
I
I
love
think
that you're genuinely answering that yet.
I
know
think she's
Gina's
got
the
a good
best.
head on her shoulders. I think she's definitely an independent thinker. I think she's good.
But look at this.
Yay!
Yay! I was like,
I'm probably too late. Those things are probably so expensive on like Amazon now. I missed the window.
this was, I think I spent $50 on it. And I thought it was only because I thought it was going to be bigger. It's literally like hand sized.
I want the pop.
was
I
gonna be like-
thought I ordered that pop, the Gina Carano or the Cara Dune pop figure, but I think I ended up not. I think it was like sitting in my cart and I just forgot to check out.
Crazy. It's like when these things get hot, like people they just know to charge an arm and a leg for
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It's really crazy. Like when all the Dr. Seuss books started going out of print, like not all of them, just the ones that
Mhm.
were like supposedly racist, even though they're not.
Right.
I tried to rush order all the ones that were going to be out of print, but they ended up being like these cheap like replicas, and I was going to return them because I'm like, this isn't real. Like they're just somebody made copies of it and bound them, but I just
Mhm.
kept them because I'm like, it's still the stories are in here.
Right.
Derm Loft, we just think they're wrong. They think we're evil. Ooh, good point.
Yes, and that therein lies the problem is what it's really just history repeating itself, you know? Like when you look at people who burned the witches back in the day, they had to say that these women were witches. They had to dehumanize them because otherwise you're not capable, most people are not capable of treating human beings like that. But if you dehumanize them, it makes it different. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what the woke side is doing, is they're dehumanizing us. They're calling us all kinds of names, all kinds of racist, misogynist, or
Anti-jabs.
yeah.
Like somehow anti-jabbers have to not be allowed to enter hospitals.
I
and They need to
know.
be deprioritized.
It's mind-blowing, and it's just like they just try so hard to dehumanize us so that they can justify just how ruthless they are. Because I mean, crap, the things that I remember growing up dealing with like I said before, the Pharisee type Christians, the more extreme side that kind of took things out of context in the Bible and pushed their view on others. As bad as they were, they didn't try to ruin your whole life.
They didn't try to get you fired.
They didn't try to do that. And so the fact that they're like, hey, the woke side is like, oh, well, if you don't agree exactly how I do, and it's not even like along the lines of, you're not even allowed nuance, and they eat each other alive.
You can't question, you can't critique, you can't have a discussion.
It's just absurd.
It's fucking crazy, Melanie. It's wild out here. Matthew
Yep.
Hammond. Oh, I love that song so much. That's my rap. Thank you. Juice Cannon for the sticker. Evan Ward. A little self-awareness goes a long way, Ms. Frosk. Well, that's interesting. It sounds like all these people are being like, hey, come on my show. Like, let's talk. And like, I don't see a lot of replies in there. So perhaps it is all talk. Little ragamuffin. Courage is being afraid of something and doing it anyways. Melanie is courageous. Thanks for the laughs, Chrissy. The world needs more of it. Oh, thanks. Everybody loves us.
Yes.
Do we need a roast on Friday Night Tights? Maybe. Who should I roast this week? No, I don't mind. I'm developing quite the wig collection. I want to talk about, have you always been into fitness? Or are you just, this is a new thing for you? Because I like that you're just like, I'm not just a gamer. It's like your goal is like, this is like this is just Melanie world. It's gonna be my workouts. It's gonna be gaming. It's gonna be just like you're a host. Like you do it all.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to dabble into fitness for about 3 years now, but when I first tried, I was mostly vegetarian. And I was struggling. To put on muscle. I couldn't do it. And I didn't really put 2 and 2 together for a while. And again, not knocking any vegetarians out there, but for me it didn't work. I was just weak, frail, couldn't do anything. And so I kind of just fell down a rabbit hole about like diet and things
my
like that,
God.
and
Woo,
discovered
I'm simping. I'm simping so hard right now. This is
I'm at
goals.
the gym today.
Goals,
But
goals,
yeah,
goals.
I stumbled on like the carnivore diet where people eat just meat basically. And I was like, whoa, this sounds crazy. This is against everything I've ever been taught my whole life. And I'm the type of person, I love it when my world is turned upside down. So I was like, let me give this a try. Gave it a try. I'm over 2 years in that
What a
now.
cute
And
top. I'm obsessed with this top.
thank you.
That's really
And
cute.
yeah, and so with the whole fitness side of things, I had a campaign with the US Marines that from last year. And so what they did was like, hey, we want to see we're going to see where you're at physically and what you can do, and then we're going to have our mentors like mentor you for 4 months, and then you're going to come back and you're going to do all this cool Marine stuff like these assault
Ooh.
runs, shoot guns, and like yeah, just try to live a day in the life or 3 days in the life of a Marine essentially. And so I took it super serious because I grew up in a military
Oh,
family. Yeah, there
wow.
we go.
Yeah,
There,
this was vegetarian
yeah.
and now so you're doing keto and a lot of meat and
Yeah,
you've
it's mostly meat based. Like most of my diet is
wow.
just meat. And my health has dramatically improved. I put on some muscle, much needed. And so yeah, I took it really serious with the weightlifting and stuff like that. Stayed really strict on my meat based diet.
Mhm.
And I feel like now I could run laps around even my 16-year-old self, and I'm 35 now. So,
Yes!
yeah.
You look like a baby. Oh my God.
Thank you. So this whole fitness journey has been amazing. So even after the Marines campaign has been done, I've been keeping it up, and I'm trying to
Wow.
get Lara Croft shredded, like
That's
classic
awesome.
Lara Croft shredded.
I feel like I had a brief time where I did like 2 or 3 Spartan races and I was like, that's it. This is Chrissy boot camp. It's over for you hoes. I
Yeah.
with the help of 2 dudes, I've climbed a wall.
Right.
That's what I love about the Spartan races. Like at the end of the day, there's just some shit like even a decently fit girl can't do. Like what I loved
Mhm.
about the Spartan races is like, yeah, the rope climbing, I did it basically all on my own. And then I would get to a wall and I'd be like, eh. And I would literally just look around and then a guy would show up and they'd be like, "Hoo-ah," they'd just toss me over it. And thank
Yep.
God, because I'd still be sitting there if it weren't. And they were cool about it. They weren't like, ugh,
Yeah.
you're so weak. It was fun.
Right.
But you
Oh,
gotta
thanks.
I really enjoyed I know it's like the stereotype, like, you know, chick who does the like Tough Mudder or like Spartan race on the
Uh-huh.
side. But it was really fun. It's fun to like get dirty. It's fun to
Oh
like
yeah.
test your physical limits and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed that. Ooh, from Young Pay. Remember we were told like 5 to 6
Right?
grains a day? Yes.
Right? And that's kind of what opened my eyes to a lot of things in general, and what's wrong with the government in general, and the brainwashing that goes on is I feel like that's kind of when I got like red
Mhm.
pilled, if you will, or whatever. It's just like, whoa, I
Good meat pilled.
completely
Mhm.
meat pilled, because
Meat pill.
I've had
Great.
like hormonal issues, endometriosis, all that ever since I hit puberty, and I've suffered with it. And then so after 3 months of sticking with the meat-based diet, then my symptoms were 80% improved.
Wow,
And
just
they
like Michaela Peterson, like so
yes.
similar to her story.
Exactly. And now I'm over 2 years into it, and now I'm like, wow, the food pyramid is backwards. And that made me think, you know what?
Why are they doing that?
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna trust anything the government tells me right now. I'm gonna look into it because I just learned for myself this way. Everything that I was following that they were saying to do, cut back on red meat, like
Mhm.
eat mostly vegetables. Oh, that wasn't working for me, clearly.
And then you're not full, and then you end up eating more junk, honestly,
Exactly.
especially
And
vegetarians. You're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna have a" I had this college roommate, she's like, "Oh," she was on her high horse. I'm a vegetarian, but I
yeah,
would see her down.
eat all day.
I would see her annihilate a
Yes.
freaking pint of port wine cheese every night. And again, this is college, like none of us were eating healthy. And I'd be like, "Huh, vegetarian, aren't you?" You know,
Well,
it's
just
gross.
look at animals in the wild. If you look at your herbivores, they're eating all freaking day, all day. And if you look at something like a carnivore, like a lion, they don't have to eat all day. They go get their meal and they're good. And it's the same way. You don't have to eat nearly as much now as you do If you're just eating all these like high carby or bunch of vegetables and all that, then you're going to need to eat all the time just to feel any sort of satiety.
Yeah.
But then if you're just eating a steak, that'll last you a while.
Yeah, like with animals.
Mhm.
Jason Platten, what Frosk fails to understand is that attraction is 95% personality. Physical attraction only piques your interest, but if you're joyless and dumb, all that attraction goes out the window. I mean, Jason sounds like kind of I would say he's not the majority. I think he's somebody who likes a gal for their personality, which I think
Right.
is rare. No, I mean, like, it seems rare on the internet because
I
it's
think
so easy to be
there's
like, "You're ugly,"
Right.
you
I
know?
think there's degrees of it because have you ever seen somebody and just think, wow, they are super attractive, and then they have a terrible personality and they look ugly to you,
Yeah, and then they open
and
your mouth
vice
and you're like,
versa.
"Oh, no." Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen people that may not have seemed attractive on the surface, but then they just have like the best personality ever, and all of a sudden, hey, like,
You're
hey,
sleeping with
wait.
them. You're like, "Oh god. How did I get here?" Oh, 'cause they were funny. Mm. Oh my god, why 2 years later, you're like, "Oh shit, we're in a relationship."
Oops, we're married.
Oops. That's how they get you. So true.
Oh man.
But yeah, I think right, Frosk is not ugly at all.
No,
Like
she's not.
everyone has their type. There's like lots of people are into that type and it's just
Mhm.
like, okay, there's no matter what you look like, there's going to be a segment of people that don't find you attractive. Like I'm sure people have called you
Right.
gross. People
Yeah.
have called me gross. It's just that's the
Yeah.
deal, you know?
Mhm.
That's why I have so many wigs. You like me now. What can I do? Just out here to trick people. Wow. Oh my god. This hour flew by, Melanie. What the heck?
It did. This was
It
fun.
was so fun. Have to get you back on a CMP.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to plug or promote or where people can find you?
I mean, basically, yeah, any major social media platform, I'm on it under Melonie Mac. Just being me.
Just being me.
Yeah.
Just getting, getting ripped, eating meat, playing video games, just being fun.
Yep. That's me.
Yeah. And you do a sweet cat eye, which I have
Thank
respect
you.
for. It's
Thank
hard to
you.
do. You guys don't realize how hard it is to do eyeliner.
Yeah, they don't. It is tough.
I appreciate it. Oh, one more from Cecil. Talk to drunk 3PO. He could probably get you that Cara Dune
Oh.
action figure. I think he knows someone. Also, what's Mel's stance on masked middle-aged weirdos?
My stance on that is if you want to wear a mask, wear it. If you don't, don't.
He, I think, is talking about like a weird hiding his identity mask because that's what he wears, but I'm not sure.
Oh!
He might be talking about himself.
Oh, more like the anonymous type on the
Yeah, yeah,
internet.
yeah.
Y'all are rad. Y'all are rad. I'm here for it. I
Okay.
don't even blame them for being anonymous because my gosh.
She's here for
People
it,
can
guys.
be brutal, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy out there. Melanie, thank you so much for coming on. You're a delight. I'm obsessed with
Thank
you.
you. Thank you
This
so
was
much.
so fun. Thank you guys in the chat and gals for your comments and questions and super chats. We appreciate you so much. Until next time, bye.